up, guys? Welcome back to the Anti-Oki Podcast. And I don't have anything to say in the intro, but I am MisterBehavior and he is Ceelows. What is going on, man? How are you?
It's a very, very interesting past few weeks. I don't know what's going on with you guys, wherever you guys live, but the world is kind of going crazy.
Yeah.
If you ever wanted to build a cabin in the woods, now's the time to do it.
Yes, actually, get out of cities. It's probably a good idea.
I live in the city myself, boys. Like, I might get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. I mean, I'm in a city, but it kind of has like a suburb vibe.
Yeah.
But even that, like, eventually it's just gonna be. I've been even talking to my girl about this. We're gonna have to get the hell out of here at some point because the world is going nuts. Yeah, man. Like the world's kind of going nuts. So we're gonna have to see. I mean, we're like growing vegetables and stuff in the backyard, and we're kind of learning about that stuff. Although this morning, my lady went out and she found that I think deers are eating our vegetables, which sucks. So I got to get some like chicken wire or some crap like that. Okay. Those guys. I know that I think Tim Pool was talking about this when he first moved to where he is. A lot of people just advise him just to shoot the deer because they're pests and people they'll eat your vegetables and shit. Yeah. So just shoot them. And you could do that in the middle of nowhere. I can't do that where I am, but because I'm like too close to people, you know what I mean? But
yeah. I guess you could, but you got to take into account, I guess, like cost of ammo, how often you do it.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
I don't know. I don't know if you'd want to do that. I mean, maybe. I don't know.
I mean, I couldn't even though, because if I brought my shotgun outside and started shooting deer, somebody would call the cops. Like I got too many neighbors and stuff like that.
We got a serial killer in the backyard.
Yeah, I know. It would be bad, but we got a couple of fucking weird stories today, man. Yeah. First of all, we're going to give you guys an update on our takes of what's going on with the Fresh and Fit, aka fake and fraud situation, which is just wild. And I know that like a lot of you guys probably don't follow these guys too much, but you should, because what's going on with this is pretty telling about like how easy it is to go on the internet and just like say nonsense. And then we got some updates on the Cowboy Bebop Netflix series, which, if you've seen this story, we're going to give our takes on like the whole thing about Danielle Pineda playing Faye Valentine, how she looks, and what her response to fans were, because to me, that was pretty insulting. And then we have over in the world of Fortnite, going back to video games for one segment today, we're going to talk about how Epic Games put really misplaced history lesson in their game. Let's say I did a video on this on my channel, but I want to get Ceelows. I want to get your thoughts on it as well. So let's go into that as the first topic here. So for those of you guys who don't know, basically Epic Games put a special feature into Fortnite, which I guess lasted. I think today is maybe the last day of it, because today, if you guys don't know, is the like 30 or 60 year anniversary of the Million Man March and the I Have a Dream speech. And so in order to honor that, for some reason, Epic Games decided to put a section in a collaboration with Time Magazine, actually, of all people, which is strange for other reasons, but they decided to do a collaboration with Time Magazine and put MLK's famous I Have a Dream speech in the game in an area that like sort of replicates the Lincoln Memorial and like Washington, D.C. And they called it the March Through Time. I personally, I did a video on this. You guys can check that out on my channel. But I personally have said that, like, I don't think that it is the place of these video game companies to be educating people on history in that sense. Like, there are historic games that have historical context. Assassin's Creed is a good example of that kind of stuff, but it's not trying to like educate you or like put you in a mindset of like some sort of civil rights activism weirdness, especially because a lot of people have pointed out on Twitter that it's pretty ironic that they decided to put a guy from history in a game who has been assassinated with a gun, in a game where the main goal is to assassinate people with guns. So I thought that was a little interesting.
Yeah.
But what do you think about this? Do you think it's appropriate for Epic to do this? I mean, like, what's the deal here?
I mean, so like I like to like think about more fundamentally what these companies like to do, and just like what like my take on just overall, like in terms of like the semantics of it. I know a lot of people are just like, like why do this over other historical events and whatnot. I guess my thing is just like companies and lecturing people, that those two have to stop coming together.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, people don't play Fortnite to learn history. People play
Right.
Fortnite to play with their kids at school or to bust some ass on the internet.
Right.
So, like, anytime a company does this, like, if anybody who sees that should automatically assume that they are doing this to kind of pander to a crowd so people can, you know, give them cookie points and play the game. So, because the reality is, if MLK was alive, he'd be pissed off with everybody.
Right. That's what I said. Yeah.
This is the thing. Like, he wouldn't be about any of this crap.
Right. Right.
So, like, he would see this and he would see right through it and be like, "You guys are just using my name for bread.
Yeah.
Like, you guys stop doing that."
Right.
Like you guys, like anybody who, like, first of all, Epic Games putting this in their game, like, these people, like, usually the people who teach these kind of history lessons don't know anything about history.
Right. That's what I'm.
So, like, they're the last people who should be lecturing
Right,
anybody, and the
right.
people who are viewing this are getting the wrong interpretation of history.
Right.
Because
Facts.
MLK was a very controversial figure during
Right.
that
He
time
was.
frame,
Yeah.
right? With, like, you know, like, because he wasn't perfect either. Like how he treated how he treated women in that
Yeah,
era. And
right,
whatnot. Like,
right,
he's got
right.
a lot of controversy around him.
Right.
I still think he's a hero and all that. It's
Yeah,
just,
yeah.
I think, in, like, realistically, he'd be pissed with all this shit.
Right.
It wouldn't be about any of it.
Right.
So when I see this, I'm just like, this is just another example of a company just pandering to a certain audience so they could get bread. That's all it is. That's
Right.
all
Well, no, I agree. I said that he's probably rolling over in his grave because what they're doing is they're using something. First of all, if you want to watch the I Have a Dream speech, you can go on YouTube and watch it literally whenever you want. You can just type it in. It's all over YouTube.
Yeah.
It's very easy to find, right? There's no reason for this to be in this video game. But also, like, it's commercializing, like, history in a really strange way, specifically Black history in a very strange way. And I don't think that that's appropriate, to be completely honest. And yeah, I think that, like, there's a certain level of a lot of these people who are advocating for this, or, like, probably worked on this, Time Magazine, Epic Games, whatever. They only know this about Martin Luther King. They know the I Have a Dream speech, and that's it. And I'm not saying that I'm a Martin Luther King expert. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that there is a lot more to this person than this one speech that he gave. Not only that, the fact that a lot of these people are pushing these narratives that say that, you know, that are, like, you know, say that Black people are still, you know, oppressed and all of these things, despite the fact that, like, these people have the opportunity to even do this, to put this out here, right? It's just such weird cognitive dissonance. And not only that, a lot of these people don't even live by the words that were said in that speech.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, he wanted people to be judged by the content of their character, not the color of their skin. And you got people running around out here talking about all white people are racist and this is why we need to do this and all this kind of crap. And it's like, you know, that, like, these people don't even understand fundamentally what that speech was about. They don't know anything about this person other than that speech. And it's just plainly inappropriate just to even put that in a video game in the first place. But
yeah, it's like I think in 2021, like, I think the two races of people that, like, it must be really annoying to be those races. Is a Black person who's not left. Anything to the right of the left, it must be really annoying because you're constantly just pandering to it, and like your history and your race is used for, like, somebody else's gain,
right?
Not because they actually care about you, right?
Right.
And then it might arguably be worse to be white because everybody just hates you.
Right. Well, that's the thing too, is it's like white people are just put into this position where they're just evil no matter what they do.
They literally, like, they're just, like, I think honestly within the next, like, maybe 5 to 10 years, like, white people are like people are going to see white people the way, like, Hitler saw Jews. Like, that's honestly how I see it.
I mean,
like,
it's already coming to that, I think.
Yeah, like even right now, like, just to get, like, slightly off top, the kind of, like, medical segregation we're seeing right now, it's just, like, it's very reminiscent. It's of just history just repeating itself again. It's just a new name.
Yeah,
but it's just like the way I see regular, like, people that even I know, just, like, even, like, my neighborhood, when, like, talk about people who don't, like, get the jab, it's crazy.
Yeah. Well, they're separating people.
Yeah.
But okay, so this MLK thing, though, it kind of blew up in their face, because I'm going to share this screen right now. There's not going to be any audio, but do you see this? So this is what it looks like.
Oh man,
right?
This is so cringe.
Now we know that the audience of Fortnite is mostly, like, younger kids, right? It's like kids, like, between, like, 12 and 15, etc. Right? So of course, this is what happened. No sound, but you can see.
Yeah.
These people are just doing Fortnite dances.
Yeah.
In front of.
And you know what? As they should.
Right.
As they should.
Right. And like, just like, could you imagine being a kid and like somebody's like, oh, do you know about Martin Luther King? Oh yeah, that guy from Fortnite. Yeah, we like did the Fortnite dances and all that. Dude, it's ridiculous. So this blew up in their face. And I don't know if can you see this now? Okay. So
disrespectful. Define disrespectful Fortnite emotes. What does that even mean?
So this blew up. This backfired. So these guys. So first of all, the weird thing about this is that they have like protest signs and things like that in the game that you can hold as your characters for some reason.
Why?
Which is very strange, right? Because again, this is video games. This is escapism. We don't go to a video game to like protest the world, right? We go to the video game to like not think about it at all.
But think of the premise too, because the people defending this kind of stuff will be like, well, video games kind of like a normal kind of entertainment for kids. So like, we have to use it to kind of educate kids. It's just like we had to reject that. Like, no, since when? They were always a form of entertainment, and that's it.
Right.
Let's leave it at that.
Right. And I said this in my video, that the responsibility to like educate your children about like history and all that kind of stuff, that's your parents. Yeah. Right. Your teachers to some degree, although I'm kind of at the point where I don't trust teachers. I
wouldn't either.
So it's like, because a lot of them are activists now, and this is what it is it's like, so this happened now Epic, so you just saw the video of people bouncing around and stuff. Epic has disabled that ability during this event now, and now they're only allowing people to do things like hold up protest signs because they call it disrespectful. So this piece from Kotaku, and I hope this isn't Ash Paris. No, it's not. I freaking hate Ash Paris. But anyway, that's another.
It's like communism in Fortnite. It's like, no, you got to do it the way we said.
Right, which is crazy. Like they're disabling the ability for people. Look, maybe Epic Games should probably backtrack and realize maybe they did something stupid. Maybe just disable it, but they won't do that. So it says, yesterday, Epic added an interactive Martin Luther King Jr. museum to its popular free-to-play shooter Fortnite. While civil rights educational event came with specific emotes for players to use, it'll allow folk to activate any emote from the wider stable of options. Having this freedom went about as well as you'd expect with players. So today, Epic has taken action. The March Through Time event is an ongoing interactive museum, blah, 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 blah. While the partnership is blah, blah, blah. There's no denying the whole thing is a little weird. Okay, so at least somebody at Kotaku knows that this thing is a little weird.
It is, yeah.
So it says all of this was made even weirder by the fact that players could attend this event and listen to King's famous I Have a Dream speech while dressed as Batman or a Stormtrooper or any of the hundreds of licensed Fortnite skins, all while doing various dances and emotes. This led to situations where players dressed as Rick Sanchez from Rick and Morty were dancing around in virtual DC's Lincoln Memorial reflecting pool while Martin Luther King's speech played in the background. Not great. But why though? But why is that not great? Did you not expect this to happen? Like, first of all, who thought that this, oh yeah, we're going to put the I Have a Dream speech in Fortnite? Like, dude, like, how can you even think that that's a good idea?
It's because they don't understand human nature. They don't understand how how people work. They don't understand gaming culture. They don't understand culture, period. They just choose to ignore it.
Right.
That's all it really is.
Right. And these are the people that are making our games and stuff, guys.
Yep.
Like, this is like the people that are making our games fundamentally do not understand what they're about. I'm going to shut that off because Kotaku is trash. Actually, speaking of that reminds me, I got to go back to my Kotaku is trash series. But anyway, this is like, it's like, I don't play Fortnite, right? I played it maybe for 2 weeks when it first came out. I came back to it like a few months ago because I wanted to show my girl the game because she had never seen it. And it had changed a lot. And it's actually a lot better now than it was, which is cool.
It's a good game. It's just idiots running the PR.
Right. Dude, they spent so much time and money on this too. They spent a lot of time and money on it.
It's interesting to see the progression because I was playing Fortnite since it came out. I don't play it anymore because I've just played it. Like I've seen the progression of the kind of game it is. When it came out, it was all about the game. That's why people loved it, and it's become this like this. They want to turn it into. I mean, we've seen this time and time again with a bunch of other series like. We could talk about next week too. Is the whole Saints Row thing? I don't know. We'll put that on the roster. Yeah. So like I'm a big fan of those games. So it was annoying seeing this, but like we've seen this time and time again. It's like the wrong people become in charge of good creations and then turn it into some culturally weird thing, and then like it takes attention off of the good game it is from the developers who made it. It's a real shame because there's a lot of talent on that team. Fortnite is a good game.
Right.
Functions well. It's one of the games that has the most depth I've ever seen in the competitive game.
Yeah,
it's
for sure.
Crazy.
And they keep adding to it.
Yeah, they keep adding to it.
You know what I mean?
It's a shame it's just mixed in with this crappy PR stunts.
Yeah. I mean, it's you have a point. What happens is something comes out, it's cool, and then it becomes successful. And then these people latch onto it and turn it into, because they know that it has success, they use it as a vehicle to push their ideas and their stupidity onto it. And this is not to say that Martin Luther King's "I Have a Dream" speech is stupidity. Of course not. That's not the point. The point is that what does that have to do with a video game in which the main goal is to kill as many people as possible?
It doesn't. It's pandering. That's all it is.
It makes no sense.
But it's also like we said. It's like they don't, like, nobody in this scenario. The developers pushing this and the people consuming this understand that speech. Guaranteed. Right. They don't understand it.
Right.
Like if you understood it, you know that it has no place there.
Right. Exactly.
It's not about like it's not like a marketing tactic. Like
well, the thing about gaming too is it's like, especially online gaming, and I'm sure some people will argue with me about this, but nobody gives a crap what you look like because you're an avatar. Like that's the whole point, right? We go in there because like we'll play this game and you can play like with anybody, and it doesn't really matter. Of course, there's going to be people talking shit to you, but that's just the internet. That's not like, that has nothing to do with the point of the game. Like you're not you're behind an avatar, and nobody's thinking about your skin color or whatever. Like most people are not, right? So it's just completely backwards just in general. It's like, what are you trying to prove? What are you trying to show these kids? Not really much. And also, if they need this, again, I'm going to go back to this. If they need this to know who Martin Luther King is, then something else is wrong with society.
Yeah.
Like that you're not fixing with this video game. You know what I mean? So that's that. What do you got? Any final thoughts on that one before we move on?
Whenever companies do this, guys, like I didn't even know the details of this situation until you showed me the video.
Yeah.
But I know that corporations by default go woke.
Yeah.
And so I know when corporations do stuff like this, especially when they use something as fundamental as like the famous MLK speech, I already know they definitely don't understand it to begin with. Because and like the fact that it's like MLK and Fortnite are in the same sentence, I don't have to know much about it to know what's going on. Because I understand how these corporations work, and I understand that they have no integrity. They will do anything that they possibly can to pander to their core audience to make money. It doesn't matter, and like that's fine. This is the thing. Like I mean, it's not really fine, but like it's like we have to understand this at the core and just understand that like you never want to like learn about history, like the truth about how things actually happen from a corporate product,
from a company that's trying to get your money. Yeah,
because like always understand, like I maybe I'm just a bit cynical at this point.
No, I mean, I hear you.
Like I default assume it's not with genuine intent.
Yeah,
it's
for sure.
Something else, and I've been right like 9 out of 10 times.
Yeah,
so like I think I have a reason to be cynical at this point.
Right. Well, I mean, it's like, it's funny because we'll move on in a second, but it's funny because the disabling of the emojis kind of shows that they're really just trying to kind of force people into some sort of a weird box, right? It's like, no, you need to watch and respect this right now. And it's not saying again that this isn't a speech that's worth knowing about, but it's like the fact that you have to disable people, and in effect, it's a form of like silencing people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Who like it, in some ways, I'm not saying that they're like, this is like the highest brow level of criticism of the, what these guys are doing, but it is a form of it, right? And so it's like silencing this criticism. It just reinforces how fucking immature and stupid and shallow and soft these people who are creating these experiences are, right? Yep. You can't do that. You can't do that.
That's disrespectful. Like,
come on, man. Like, get the fuck out of here. But exactly what you were saying about how people latch onto things that are popular and try to change and force their own agendas into it. we're going to move into our next story. This happens to be about the anime world and the new Netflix version of Cowboy Bebop, which I don't know about you, but I was never planning on watching anyway, to be completely honest with you.
I don't have a Netflix subscription or Disney Plus or Hulu or any of that stuff. I don't watch anything. So like I'm at the point where when some form of media comes out, I'm like, who produced it? And if it's Netflix or any of the big ones, I'm automatically skeptical of what it's going to be.
Right.
And in this situation, it seems pretty interesting because I saw the characters, like the actors and whatnot, and I saw like who they're supposed to portray. I never really watched Cowboy Bebop. I have some lo-fi, like I have like a Cowboy Bebop mix. That's about it.
Yeah, for sure.
I've seen like who they have as the characters. And I just thought, I was like, this kind of looks cool, but I don't know much about the anime.
Yeah, for sure.
So I don't have a strong opinion, but you want to explain like what's
really going on? So I did watch Cowboy Bebop back in the day, thanks to Adult Swim, and I have the whole thing on Blu-ray.
I'm sure it's good. Adult Swim
it's fantastic. Fantastic. Has one of the best theme songs ever in any anime, right? As we all know. But one of the characters is like sort of like the femme fatale sort of character. Faye Valentine is being portrayed by a woman named Danielle Pineda. Now, I had not heard of who Danielle Pineda is at all. But apparently she was in Jurassic World 1 and 2, I guess. I never watched any of those movies either. But just most modern movies are bad, so I don't even bother.
Yeah.
But anyway, the first look came out of Danielle Pineda in the Faye Valentine costume that's going to be used in the Cowboy Bebop series. And I'll go ahead and I'll do a Google search and I'll share this. Now, this is Danielle Pineda as Faye Valentine.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the worst thing in the world, but if you look at a comparison between what Faye Valentine looks like in the anime versus what she looks like in the Netflix version, here, let's go here. Let's just go straight into this. So she looks very different. Now, noticeably, she's wearing like long pants that kind of cover up her legs or whatever. And she has the jacket, the trademark jacket, but she's wearing it over her body instead of having it hang down. Now, Faye Valentine's supposed to be sort of like a sexy femme fatale character in the world of Cowboy Bebop. And to me, this is not that. What this character looks like to me is sort of like Star-Lord in Guardians of the Galaxy, but like a female version. Now, understandably so, a lot of people were upset because they were basically saying like, well, cosplayers have been doing this. Like, let's just do like a good here we go. So here's a cosplayer doing Faye. This isn't a cosplayer. This is a fake image.
Oh yeah, it's a fake
this is Danielle Pinella's face on a cosplayer's body.
Yeah, because the interesting thing, at least like for me, when I first saw this, my like initial like thought process comparing the characters was like, well, I think the actress herself is fine.
Yeah, sure.
I just like, but like the outfit is, I guess is that what people are having a problem with?
Yeah.
Like,
so it's
the actress I think is fine. Resemblers are fine.
Right. The actress is fine. It's just people don't like the outfit because you can see here, this is a cosplayer who's doing the character pretty much justice, right? And cosplayers have been doing this for decades. I mean, there's a male cosplayer that looks better than her.
I mean, this looks better right here. Honestly.
Right. But a lot of people are like, oh, well, you're just mad because it's not like, see, you got a bunch of these. Like, see, look, you got a bunch of these chicks that are able to do Faye Valentine cosplayers.
Like that looks better, right? Yeah.
Right, way better. And the Netflix show has a budget, has like a giant budget.
That usually does.
This is probably my favorite one. Not gonna lie, she fine. But anyway, so we're gonna go back to look at Danielle Pineda again. So this is her version. So she basically has like a yellow inner zip up shirt, and then she's wearing the jacket with similar colors to like Star-Lord. But if I could see like a longer shot, there's a shot of her whole body, and you can see that she's actually wearing long black pants, which is not really here we go. So this is the comparison between the character in the anime and the character on the Netflix show.
I see the problem now because in the rant that she made, we're going to get into in a sec, like she made it seem like they were criticizing her physical appearance.
Right.
But it sounds like they were criticizing how what Netflix decided to do with the actress.
Right.
I don't really know what I don't. It's hard to like, maybe there's a mix of both. I don't really know. Like, they could have had this outfit on her; it would have been fine.
Right. Well, so she probably didn't want to do this because, okay, so as my lady pointed out, she went to Mills College, Daniel Pineda, which is probably
like, I don't
why
even know what that is.
Mills College is a all women's, very feminist college. My lady went there too, actually, so she knows. Right. Okay. And my lady was criticizing this already because I told her what was going on. And she, like, even my woman who went there too, she's like, this is stupid. Why would they do this?
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. It's not like, again, the character's supposed to be sort of like a femme fatale, that, like, her being like in sexy clothing is part of the character. Right. Yeah. It's the 90s Japan too. Right. Yeah. So that's really what it is. So it's like this, it's not just that the character has been changed. It's also that she's almost unrecognizable, to be completely honest.
Yeah. No, I understand now. Yeah.
And then it's like, well, this actress kind of proved that she doesn't really understand who she's playing either.
She doesn't care.
She did a video, which I'll edit that into the
guys. So as you know, our Cowboy Bebop first look dropped today, which was so exciting. And I just wanted to address a couple of things that sort of keep coming up in the comments amongst fans. First, I wanted to apologize to the fans that I did not anatomically match the Faye Valentine character. 6 foot, double D size breast, 2-inch waist. You know, they looked everywhere for that woman and they couldn't find her. It's kind of weird. So they just went with my short ass. I know. Am I right? You know, there was talk about, like, can we put Daniela in a time machine and maybe give her different parents so she has different genetic information to sort of make her look better? It proved to be too complicated. And the other thing I wanted to bring up was I want to apologize that the outfit I'm wearing is not exactly what she wears in the anime. You know, we tried, but doing stunts in tissue paper, things disappear, they rip. Sometimes it just got lost. Anyway, like I was saying, that original costume, they made a couple of them, but like I said, they got sort of slurped up in my various crevices, never to be retrieved again. So we needed to really build something that could withstand the test of time. So you
watched it because you saw Young Ripa's video on it, but she did a video where she basically derided fans about criticizing the costume, and she made a very clear point. If you guys saw in the video, it says she says, oh, well, they tried to find an actress who was 6 foot and had double D breasts or whatever. First of all, Faye is 5'6" canonically, and she has C cups, so she doesn't even know who she's playing.
Yeah,
like, she doesn't know. And like this, so it's like, it's not that like people are really just upset that, like, oh, they you know, they changed the costume, which is part of it, but also you have this actress who doesn't fundamentally understand what she's doing, right? And clearly doesn't like the fans of the original show. She clearly doesn't have any respect for the source material. And then on top of that, it's like, if this is one of the changes that they're going to be doing in the show, what else are they going to do? I already know that there's going to be no Ed. They took Ed as a character out. Ed is like the kind of like autistic girl character that they actually ended up writing out later on in the series, because I think the issue was the original creator said that the character didn't really fit the tone of the show. So they ended up writing this character out anyway, but they completely removed that character from a Netflix show. So there's a bunch of things where it's worrisome, and this costume shows that there's probably not that much respect for what a Cowboy Bebop actually is. You know what I'm saying? On top of that, I don't know about you, but I can't really see John Cho as Spike. Like, this is just a side note. This is him as Spike, and like, I don't know. Like, John Cho,
I've never seen the show, so I don't know. Like, can he portray the same personality?
Fair enough. But John Cho, to me, he just seems like too nice. I don't know. There's something about it. Maybe people in the comments can tell me whether or not you think that this is cool. Can you
click the image right above? Yeah, right there. Because I like, in terms of like the aesthetic,
right,
of the main character. Do you think this guy fits?
Well, so they did a decent job of giving him the costume. That's also the thing too, is it's like, this costume looks like Spike.
I like this.
Why can't her costume look like Faye?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it's like,
It's I mean, it's very clear the kind of way that the people who made the show think.
Right.
And this is why I don't subscribe to Netflix, because this is so common with so many like shows like this. It's like the people they don't care about the source material. It's not that they don't care.
Well,
like,
they proved
their
it.
own thing.
They proved it too, because I think, if I'm not mistaken, they're going to be releasing like a manga or a comic book or something like that that's based on this version. And somebody said something that I thought was really interesting, which was, I love how these Netflix shows, they try to like act like they're trying to drive people to like the source material and all this stuff, but then they go ahead and make their own versions that are based on their own version.
Yeah,
because it's not about that. They want to erase the original. Now,
and also the thing with the source material too is like the people who, like, for example, like the Final Fantasy VII remake, right? Like, obviously, I never played Final Fantasy VII, and I've heard mixed opinions on what people think with like the new game and the old game. But like, in terms of somebody looking at the new whatever form of media, whether it's a game or a show, and like, oh, this is good, I'm gonna go check out the source material. Like, people gotta do that on their own anyway,
right?
So like, I don't know if like the producer of this show really understood that, but
yeah, right.
Regardless, they're not, even if they wanted to do that, this is not how you do it.
Right. I mean, like, I personally am going to be skipping this. I have the original show on Blu-ray, so I'm just going to watch that. But I want to point this out before we end. That we went to. Okay, hold on. I got a thing on Twitter that we got to watch. We got to look at. So basically, there is a King Vader version of Cowboy Bebop that was shown on somebody put a link to it. I can't find it, but so the King Vader version of Cowboy Bebop, King Vader does, for those of you guys don't know, he does a bunch of like different like hood parodies of animes. He's got like 2.2 million subscribers or some crazy shit like that. And there is actually, I could probably just Google it. King Vader Cowboy Bebop. The version of Faye that's in that here. I think this is the girl. So okay, here we go.
It's better.
King Vader Cowboy Bebop. Like, how is it that King Vader is able to pull this off? And I understand that, like, you know, it's a YouTuber. Here's another image. How is this chick able to pull this off?
Yeah.
And then you're going to tell me that, like, Danielle Pineda is like, oh, well, you know, it was just not practical because, like, these would get sucked into my various crevices and all this kind of nonsense that she was talking about. And it's like, people are seriously sitting here online defending that nonsense. It's like, people are saying, oh, well, she's got to have to do stunts in that thing. First of all, Danielle Pineda does not do her own stunts. There's no fucking way. Okay. Let's be honest. Second, all you need to do, my lady pointed this out this morning. We were talking about this. All you need to do is put a flesh colored bodysuit under the costume. That's it. That's it. And these people have Netflix budget and they can't figure that kind of stuff out.
No.
How did this YouTuber get the look of that character better than a Netflix budget show? I don't understand it. I don't understand.
They don't care. I mean, they just don't care.
It's really sad. So at the end of the day, I'm just going to watch the Blu-ray of the original show. Like, I'm going to wait until the new one comes out and then I'm going to marathon the original show. That's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, I can't see many Cowboy Bebop fans being interested in this, to be honest. I mean,
yeah,
I don't know, like, what's the like, how often do original anime watchers even watch live action stuff like this? Like, do they even care? Like, I don't know how Death Note did. I know people said that was pretty bad, or like, each had something like that. I don't know if people really even care about that. Like, who really asked for that? I don't know.
I think a lot of people don't like them. I mean, like, even my lady was talking about. We were talking about Death Note. That's like one of her. That if you mention the Death Note Netflix around her, she'll be like, no, that's awful. It doesn't exist.
That's one of, if not my favorite animes. So that's one of the reasons I didn't watch live action. Is like, I'd rather just not be that tarnished. So.
Right. Well, here's the thing. This is not even just Cowboy Bebop or Death Note or Bleach or any of them. Why would you take animation and turn it into live action? What is the point of that? You are limiting yourself to an obscene degree when you go from animation to live action. You can do so much more in animation. It seems like such a waste of time and energy to do that when you have a great animation version of something and then you want to make it live action. It's, to me, it's just because these people are lazy and they can't think of anything original anymore. And so they just want to remake the things that they had as kids. And it's just like, why don't you, if you want a character, if you want female Star-Lord, why don't you go ahead and do that on your own? Yeah. Why don't you make your own thing? But they know that they can't. They know that they can't, because if they did, no one will watch it. So instead, they have to take something that's popular and they have to push their nonsense into it. And this is a great example of that. So I'm going to advise you, dude, honestly, don't watch this Netflix version of this. Like, just watch the original show. You don't need this. You don't need this.
That's what I've noticed. Like, once I got like, what I've noticed, just like in general, when I start like getting rid of this, anything that has to do with like giant corporations and media, the more I like get rid of it, the more I'm like, I didn't need that. Like, it's just been very consistent. I didn't need Netflix. I didn't need Hulu. I didn't like all this stuff. I don't need.
Yeah, for sure.
I've noticed. So like this stuff, when I see this stuff, I'm just like, yeah, I don't watch shit anyway.
Yeah,
everything is woke. It's like,
exactly. It's just a waste of time.
Trash.
It's just a waste of time. So at the end of the day, don't watch that. And don't be like these next guys that we're going to go in and talk about. We're going to talk about the fake and fraud situation, aka Fresh and Fit. So you guys watched our last 2 episodes. We had a two-part episodes about the red pill space and what was going on with fake and fraud. And I actually really do like fake and fraud. Shout out to Kevin Ray Wilder for the fake and fraud.
I really, he had a stream covering the Q&A they did, which we'll get into. But Kevin Ray is pretty. I really like him. I've actually grown like into that guy. I'm surprised at the dislikes this guy gets. It must be freaking fraud fans. Like, I don't know what's. People hate this guy.
It is. It's mostly just fanboys. Because here's the thing. Like, I've been watching him for a little while, and I mentioned him on our last couple episodes because I like the white pill philosophy and all that stuff. Shout outs to Coach Whitepill too, by the way. I didn't put that meme on my channel to deride you. I just thought it was funny that you misread my super chat, and I had to I had to do it. He actually commented on my video and said like he feels really bad. And I said, dude, it's no shade. I just thought it was super funny.
Yeah, it's just funny.
So no shade on that, guys. But anyway, so what's going on? So what's going on with these guys? So they did like a Q&A, right? It was like
I watched most of it.
Okay.
I watched most of it because again, these guys are 2 guys that I want to like. I've been supporting these guys hardcore for months. I've been going to Twitch chat, guys. Open the tab, like the video. Let's take over Twitch. There's a bunch of woke it. Like, I was super for these guys. So this has really put like a salty taste in my mouth. So like basically they went over different. All the different claims, like the whole Anna Quinn thing. They went over the Miss Cheeks thing that apparently Myron like got pregnant or whatever.
Oh yeah, right.
They went over. I'm trying to think of all the other.
I know that Myron talked about how he used to work for Homeland Security.
Yeah, he basically confirmed that for the last 10 years, from 2010 to 2020. Yeah. And he went over. Basically, they addressed all the criticisms they were getting, like especially with like Ava and Preach, the reason why I like Kevin Ray Wilder's take is because I'm watching this live stream and everyone's like, man, 5-0 for all the claims I'm making. That we're all on wins tonight. And I'm over here like every original claim that whether it's Anna Quinn, whoever was criticizing them, every original claim that was made about Fresh and Fit, they confirmed true. All they did in that entire stream was say, yeah, we did that. But it ain't a big deal. This is a bigger deal.
Is it really?
Yeah, that's all they did. They like the whole Anna Quinn, because the whole claim was just like you basically extorting this girl to get her on your podcast. You're using your clout for sex, and then when you don't get it, you send like hateful people to them.
Yeah, I mean that we already knew that though.
They never denied that. All they did was for an hour they just kept ranting about, oh, she deleted a comment about Mike Rashid, and she was just like, because I didn't really think it was necessary to bring a third party into it, which that makes more sense than like, oh, she's chasing clout. I mean, this is the thing, like she was asked to hit them up first.
Yeah. Right.
And then also like they constantly claim that like Anna Quinn was doxing them, but when you follow the trail, because Myron is a very like this is why the whole like people saying how manipulative he is with his history of being a federal agent. Yeah. They definitely call a line and you see it in real time, because like the whole claim was he was making a big deal of how she doxed Fresh and Fit and how she came after their business and whatnot. But if you follow the trail of events, after the extortion DMs that he sent to her, she made a story asking a question about that kind of behavior, but never specifically singled out his name or Fresh and Fit at all. And so Myron took that and then at Anna Quinn. So like basically Fresh and Fit doxed Anna off an anonymous post she made about
yeah.
And they made it seem like she doxed in. That's not, if you just listen to Myron and take it for what it is, you'll believe she's in the wrong. If you follow the trail of events, you'll see that he's clearly in the wrong. This is the case for every single claim.
Right.
And like especially with the whole like the Miss Cheeks thing was just like she's claiming that she's pregnant, and he's saying that he showed some phone calls that like she wasn't really sure how to answer things. So he's like, I don't know if you want to believe that, but it's like she could be right. I didn't really care about the one. The main thing was the whole Anna Quinn thing.
Yeah.
The Abba and Preach thing. They kept claiming, well, if he wants to box, they have her number. They can hit him up. Abba and Preach responded to it saying, "Here's a DMs." They never responded.
Yeah. I saw that.
So that was a lie. All right. So like
I saw that.
So if you go through each of the claims, guys, all you gotta do, follow the trail of events. You will find that all the criticisms that are coming out Fresh and Fair are legit.
Yeah.
And they don't even deny it.
Yeah.
All they do is they say, don't look at that. Look at this instead, to try to create a narrative to take away from that. Manipulative people do this. And he's with the federal government for 10 years. Kevin Ray mentioned a really good point. He's like, it makes sense that he's a federal agent. He's like, he has like, he's gained a lot of skill in extorting information from weak, insecure people to get information from like deadlier threats in the cartel and whatnot.
Yeah.
Kind of makes sense because Ayande, because his story like is interesting. He mentioned a really good point that I didn't really think about. He's like, notice everybody on their team. You have Chris, which by the way they all use aliases. You notice that they all have fake names.
Aliases, yeah.
You have to question that. And so you look at Chris, you look at Fresh, you look at Trey. He's like, what are the chances that all three people on his team all have
stutters? Yeah, I saw that. That he surrounds himself with people who are less charismatic or have speech impediments, so that he can like elevate and lead. Yeah. That's a weird thing. Definitely a weird thing. The weirdest thing to me was about that whole situation was, guys, if you don't know this, so there was an episode of their show that came out where Allende, who is the guy who was working with them for a little while, getting some of their girls. I guess they're not working together after their 100K party or whatever. He showed up to their studio and opened the door and called out Myron and said, "Hey, like, come out here and fight or whatever." Myron stood inside the house with a gun or whatever and didn't want to go out. But there was a whole thing where they were claiming that he broke the door down. And there's a video up now on Allende's site at Authentic Alphas on his YouTube page from his side. And this is what I said in my video about this. It was like, I want to see the video from his side because I want to see what happened. So he actually just opened the door. It was unlocked. So these guys were capping so hard. Like they were like, oh, he broke the door. He did this. He did that. And look, I'm like you, man. I was chilling these guys because I was like, oh, they're like spitting some truth. The thing about it is like I know a lot of these guys like in the space, like John Anthony Lifestyle or like Alex Payne with Fire or like even Kevin White Wilder to some degree. They don't really like the Rollo Tomasi rational male kind of thing. But to me, I think that there's some valuable stuff in there, like I said last time. But you have to know what to do with the information afterwards. You can't just kind of go, otherwise you become black-pilled really, really fast. So the thing about it is it's like these guys have been using these ideas and they don't really like represent it in a very good way anymore. You know what I'm saying? But they're ended up just kind of like capping and lying on all of these things, and it's really wild to see them get caught in real time, like, you know, and not even have the gall to like back down or say like we messed up. Like I think there was a clip somewhere that I found. I think it might have been on the Auburn Preach video, or maybe it was John Anthony Lifestyle, something like that. Where he's like, Fresh is like, where did we cap? Never did, never once. You know what I mean? Like, and it's like, yo, but there's like mad evidence. It's almost like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is one of those types of people, right? She'll say something crazy and then somebody will like call her out and then she'll just be like, no, I didn't do that. It's like, oh, I could be like, okay, this isn't a phone. This isn't a phone. It's not. You know, this isn't like a pack of mints. No, it's not. But you know that it fucking is. It's like that's what these guys kind of are doing. It's like
It's just
no,
gaslight.
no, that didn't happen. You know,
just like they just deny it. That's it.
Yeah, it's so they've been averaging subs. They're losing like 50,000 subs.
70,000.
70,000. Okay, so that's crazy. I have never seen
that either.
I even like Amazing Lucas. I don't know if you know who that is. He lost a bunch of subs because he was like a right-wing sort of black guy during like the Trump era or whatever, like when everybody was blown up on YouTube talking about like conservatism or whatever. And he went sort of left at some point and lost a bunch of subs. Even he didn't lose nearly that much. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, dude, like even Hunter Avalon went completely flipped. And I don't think he lost as many subs as fast as these guys. You know what I mean?
I can't stand that guy.
Hunter Avalon. I know he kind of went weird, but it's crazy. So like the idea that these guys, the problem is it's like these guys are being sort of exposed for like not really being what they say they are. Like, I don't know if you saw this video of Fresh Prince CEO talking about how he had 3 girls in one day or something.
Oh, dude. Yeah, I don't know. You should really see the video that Kevin Ray Wilde just put up on Fresh.
Oh yeah,
something Cardone. He's like an infamous kind of scammer dude.
Okay.
Fresh Prince has a video with him years back. I think he was on some kind of show.
Yeah, I just watched that. I literally just watched that before you.
It starts to make sense when you watch that kind of stuff. It's
yeah. Where the guy's like, "Sell me the water."
Yeah.
And he's like, you want me to sell you the water? I'm like, bro, I've been in situations like that. You know what I would do? I'd be like, yo, this water is bomb. This water is gonna make you the most powerful, the most like hydrated person in the world. This is the best water. Take a sip of the water, be like, this is so damn good. It's not that hard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's what this dude was. So it's like, it's really funny to see like, and I know that was years ago. You can't say that like this guy is like the way that he was years ago is necessarily the way he's going to be now. But dude, I'm going to be real. Even when I was watching them, I could tell that like Fresh Prince CEO was kind of awkward. But it's there's no way that this guy is like, I think he says that he's like sleeps with like 1,500 women a year or some crazy shit like that.
You've seen the paid articles he has.
Yeah. Dude,
I mean,
he's 20 years old now, apparently. That guy's not 20. Come on,
not
man.
20. He's not 20.
Apparently, so he did another. I know this is just fresh and fishy.
He said he was married already.
Yeah,
he was
got
married and divorced.
Married.
How do you get married and divorced at 20? No.
Yeah. Dude. This guy. This is just roast session now. We're off it. Off it. Roast session. This guy posted a video talking about how he met an NBA player at a bar.
Yeah.
And that the NBA player asked him where the hoe's at. Okay, that's not that far-fetched, right? I mean, except for the fact that somebody else posted a video talking about how NBA players don't go to bars because they can't, which makes sense because it's like you'll be like, if you're a household name NBA player, like you're gonna get accosted at the bar, dude. Like it's just gonna happen. So that does make sense. But anyway, so I'm not the first part. He's like, okay, so I met this NBA player. He asked me where the hoe's at. Okay, sure, fine. But then they exchange Instagrams, and the NBA player realizes that they bang the same girls. And then the guy happens to be having a party at his house the next day. The guy who asked you where the parties were, and you get invited, and there's just girls there everywhere for you to pick from. And then you get 3 of them, and then you said you could have had a threesome, which that would have been a foursome, my dude. And then you say that like, this is how you get girls on Instagram. And the whole video was like a sales pitch for his Instagram course, even though in your story, the NBA player was the one who got you the girl. None of this shit makes any sense.
No, that makes any sense.
There are people on the internet defending this shit.
Of course they will. They have to believe it's true because they have nothing else. Like this is it for them.
It's just
we may need to do a whole episode on grifters. It's getting crazy, this grifting stuff.
Yeah,
like they're everywhere.
No,
it's funny, crazy. Like but it you know, it doesn't happen just on the right, it happens on the left too. I mean, you see the whole thing with Hassan Piker, like it happens on the left.
Oh yeah.
Like, it's just we don't like to believe it's on people on the center or the right. I think that's the problem. Like like no, that can't be. Only they do that. It's just like you know, there is you have to, like, because I think like there might be like a lack of understanding as to what grifting is and where it comes from.
Yeah.
Grifting is kind of like a representation of human nature in a sense, because it's like people who see an opportunity use it to for self-interest.
Yeah.
That's like a nature thing. People do that all the time. It doesn't matter what affiliation or religion or whatever.
Facts.
You know, like even like it's why like even like with the Christian belief, there's so many like television pastors.
Yeah,
it's like
for sure.
They don't, you know, if you understand like what the Bible teaches, you see what they teach, you know, it doesn't align at all. You see what they're doing. Like it's everywhere.
Yeah.
It's just but the thing that I'm seeing now is just it's a denial that certain people are grifters, and that's kind of the problem I'm seeing. It's mainly with like the center on really on the right. Like people don't want to like accept it, you know. It's a problem because that's how you fall into delusion. You start to live in fantasy worlds, and then you just become like, you know, that's what people on the left do. They live in false realities. You become just like them.
Well, that's the thing too. Yeah, become the thing you hate. But I think a lot of it is it's like these guys in particular, they have the ears of a lot of disillusioned young men, and these guys will defend them to the teeth. I mean, like you saw what happened with Anaquin Fitness. Myron's like, hey, like here's her email or Instagram, go bother her or whatever, and people are sending her crazy shit. There was a guy who went on Duke and Dawn and was defending the fact that he sent this woman a DM that said like, suck Myron's dick, you thought, or some shit like that. And it's like, bro, like how could you ever think that that's an appropriate thing to do
ever?
Like that's just so crazy to me. Like
another thing too with the Anna Quinn stuff, because Kevin Ray pointed this out too. I noticed this when I was watching the stream. He said, guys, like first he encouraged people to go criticize her. We know what that is.
Yeah.
5 minutes later, he's like, guys, just make sure you don't do that. And then 10 minutes later, this is like Myron responding to like a past video he did on Anna Quinn, where in the same video, he says, go harass her. Then guys, don't harass her. And while he's responding to that, he's like, guys, didn't I just say don't harass her without ignoring what he just said previously? He likes to do this. He's like a very like highly skilled gaslighter. And whole 4 to 5 hour stream was him doing that. And I'm watching, I'm just like, I want to see how many people are going to fall for this. And you can kind of see the like to dislike ratio, how many people fell for it. It's just like,
it's crazy. People are still giving them money and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, dude, there are people, we're rocking till the wheels fall off, all this shit. I'm like, bro, you guys really want this to be a legit thing so bad that you're just going to ignore all of this nonsense. Look, you're never going to see, dude, honestly, it is atrocious for somebody to sick people on other people. You're never going to see us do that. We had videos where we criticized people. We criticized, Xanos. We criticized, Ernesto, all that kind of stuff. You're never going to see us go harass them. Go to their video and like, that's the craziest shit, man. Like, again, like I don't really believe that cyberbullying is a thing. My thing is, it's like, you can turn your computer off, but like, that doesn't mean that like people should like be encouraging other people to go into other people's DMs and shit like that. Like, I think that that's really bad. I think that that's a really poor representation of like what the whole manosphere thing is supposed to be in the first place. Like, you're not supposed to be encouraging people to be shitheads.
You're supposed to be stoic. That's the whole narrative. That's the whole idea of it, right? It's like my thing with the whole cyberbullying thing is I kind of have a take very similar to like Asmongold, because there was somebody committed suicide, I think, in the WoW community or something.
Mm-hmm.
And what happened before, maybe not the WoW community, just like in the streaming community or whatever. And then the day before it happened, he like proposed to a girl who I think he used to mess with, but like she wasn't really not into him. And then everybody dogging him on Twitter for that. And the next day, he like committed suicide.
Damn, that's fucked up.
Yeah, and so there was kind of a talk was just like people were saying like, they're responsible for it. And then I like my whole thing with, because we've seen this before, where like some people are just mentally ill, and what happens is they put stuff out on the internet, and then naturally people like shit on them for putting dumb stuff on the internet.
Yeah.
And because they're mentally ill, they go do something terrible like commit suicide.
Yeah.
And people will call that cyberbullying. It's just like, I think it's somewhere. It's kind of like a mix of both sides, where it's like they're not responsible for what they did, but it didn't help either.
Right.
And it's I think it's important to kind of see like maybe like kind of read the room better. It's just like, if you see a girl being like harassed by like a channel with 450K subs, is it really going to help if you join in with them, even if she's wrong?
Yeah.
Like, there's kind of like a mix there. It's like, obviously we're not responsible, but we don't have to be assholes either.
Right.
And I think that's Kevin Ray kind of like hinted at that too, and I think that's a good kind of healthy way to look at it.
Yeah, I mean, well, my thing is this: it's what kind of a dude, a man, are you if some other guy tells you to go harass a woman and you go do it? It just seems completely antithetical to what we're supposed to be doing as men, which is protecting women in the first place. Look, man, if I see a guy, as soon as I saw the thing with Anaquid Fitness, I started to lose respect for these dudes because I saw that thing. Kevin Ray Wilder interviewed her a while ago. And I just put on that video, I just put whack because it is whack that somebody would try to leverage their podcast to get pussy and then get mad when they don't get it. You know what I mean? Like, look, we've all been fucking 18 years old. All right. We've all been lame 18-year-olds who have like gotten mad at girls or whatever. But when you're a grown ass man and your whole thing is don't simp and you know what I mean? Don't like, you know, just be a high value man and women will come. And then I see a DM from you where you're basically like, no, you have to fuck me or I'm not going to collaborate with you. And get mad. Oh, you fucked people I know and all this kind of stuff. Like, dude, I literally had a friend. I said this on one of the videos. I had a friend who did that when we were like 20 years old or something. We still clown him for this. He went to this girl and he tried to hook up with her by leveraging like, I don't know, it was even like his car, his studio, some crazy shit like that. She didn't want to hook up with him. And he literally said to her, when is it my turn? You fucked all of my friends. When is it my turn? And like got upset. That's the vibe I was getting from Myron in those DMs.
That's what he said.
Right.
I mean, he said it.
It's like
I know your pass. And so basically on her pass, he has to disrespect her.
Right.
Now, it's funny because in that whole thing with the whole Anna Quinn thing, it's like, he's saying is like, guys, I'm just being honest. It's just like, okay, there's being honest. There's being an asshole. Right. And there's not having integrity. I don't think he's understanding that. Like, this is why I think he actually doesn't care about integrity, even though he always talks about it. It's like a front. It's kind of like for people to believe it. But if you cared about integrity, you will understand leveraging your podcast to get sex is not integral to the whole red pill space. You would understand that fundamentally.
Right.
He doesn't care. And that's why he keeps detracting away from it because he understands that it's wrong. He knows it's wrong, but he doesn't care. He wants people to kind of like accept this narrative that you can just disrespect girls if they have sex with a bunch of guys. He kind of like to me it seems like he believes that his audience is stupid.
Right. Yeah.
Because they're stupid, he has to talk like this.
The thing is, I don't think he's wrong. Because here's the thing: if you're still rocking with the dude after all of that stuff, you might be. You know what I'm saying? Like I for real, because it's like we saw that we're like starts to see the crack. We're like, this is a little weird.
Yeah,
okay, this is a little weird. Especially like, dude, the nail in the coffin for me with those guys was honestly the lying about the kicking the door down stuff.
Yeah, like, it's funny. I didn't know that till you mentioned that. I didn't watch that video.
Well, he's like saying, oh, you know, Allende's a felon. You guys know that he's a felon. Like trying to throw him under the bus and talking about all this kind of stuff. And it's like he kicked the door down, but you can clearly see from his side, no, he opened the door. The shit was open. Why do you have to continue lying? I don't understand that. You know what I mean? It's like if you have the facts on your side, people will see that, right? Yep. But like you're especially when it's like it's very clear that you're gonna get caught in that lie. Like all he did was wait. I think Allende waited like 24 hours and then posted the video.
Yeah, you know, I think I don't know if it was Allende or Kevin Ray that mentioned this. They talked about the CSI. I think I mentioned it. He talked about the CSI video they posted. He was just like, the CSI video never showed the broken lock. You know right. They were just present. He's like, they were just collecting a report. They never actually showed the lock. Anyone who's watching that could see. And even I saw that too. And I'm just like, I don't think I could believe this because I understand who Myron is now.
Right. Exactly.
Everything I see, I have to question now. Like we're at that point where even like video evidence is not like
right.
Take it at face value anymore.
Right. Exactly.
It's crazy.
Exactly.
And it's like this because I know you mentioned the whole like these people who are kind of defending Myron. It's like, are they stupid? And it's like I think it's a combination of them being stupid and they'd rather somebody else think for them.
Right. Because
this whole idea is like, well, you guys weren't loyal from day one. I've been loyal since day one. I reject the premise you have to be loyal to a YouTuber.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Like when do you have to be like, you don't know these people. Why do you think you have to be loyal to a content creator who gives you entertainment? That's very strange to me.
Yeah. Like, dude, you guys, anytime You go back to our old videos. You want to call us out on some shit? Do it. Fantastic. Do it. Criticize us. That's the thing. You don't have to be beholden to some dude who doesn't even know that you exist. That's crazy.
It's like, you know, I think what the one of the dangerous things we've kind of done, and this is kind of like this is what like kind of like social media culture has done, is we've equated relationships to parasocial relationships, and they're not the same. Yeah, they're not even close.
That's big brain shit right there, man.
And that's gonna get worse. Like we now think they're in this. We've conflated the two, and man, it's like, you know, yeah.
I was gonna say, well, especially because of the fact that everybody's like staying inside more because of all this like beer bug nonsense. That's gonna get worse. 100% worse. But keep going.
It's. I mean, you even see this like on the political spectrum. Like most of the in the right too, but like on the left, people have parasocial relations with politicians, which is the worst thing you can do. That's the worst thing. I know. But even on the right too, like I see the stuff with Trump and like gold effigies, and just like this stuff is getting weird, man.
I am
not about that life.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
Like I mean, I obviously like if you have like, and if you have a faith in something of a higher power, obviously you see through these things. But I think that's kind of totally. That's kind of like to get on like a more like fundamental level. When you don't have like a belief in like a higher power outside of the physical world, you have to find something to replace it.
Yeah,
and that's kind of what we're seeing. It's like we've replaced like that with like parasocial relations with whatever we want, whether it's fresh and fit, whether it's a politician or whatever it is. It's like, I swear, it's like the more I see this stuff, the more like it just continues to strengthen my fundamental beliefs of the world.
Good, yeah.
Just like, we're all messed up. Everybody's corrupt. Like there's nobody who's good. It's crazy, and it kind of like lifts me up in a sense, because it's like I know what this is going to result in the end, which is good. But it's like I'd like to see more people come to that conclusion, but they're not. And it's because they don't want to. They don't want to think for themselves and have like their own sense of like what they believe to be true. They rather somebody else do it for them.
No, they don't. You're right. They don't want to, because it's a lot easier to have these thoughts implanted in your head, because you don't have to take responsibility for them if something gets messed up. You can blame someone else.
This is why I'm such a proponent of John Doyle. That
guy's so good.
Being 22, this guy is so brilliant. Like he always talks about this. He's just like, you know, like he's like, the right makes this mistake all the time. It's just like they think that we're like our base think for themselves. He's just like, but you think of like, even consider people in World War II who fought for this country. You think they really thought for themselves? They just had a belief in the country, and they were willing to die for it. That's all. It was easier, just like, I love my country, I'm gonna go die for it. He's like, they didn't really think for themselves. And he's like, it doesn't always have to be a bad thing. It's like, what we can do is that we can take that to our advantage and go, because people don't want to think for themselves, how can we appeal to those people? And so that it
push them in a good way.
Push them in like a morally good way.
Exactly.
Like it doesn't always have to be like it's hard to really say if it's inherently, because sometimes I'm just like, you know, it gets kind of stressful always thinking for yourself. So I kind of see the appeal, right? And also the people who don't think for themselves will never admit it, obviously.
Well, it's like what Ethan Klein said. Well, bro, you don't even have to think about it, bro. Like the government just like shows you like what to think about. Like, bro.
And, you know, you hear that, and part of me is like, that's crazy that he thinks that, but also just like, I totally understand why. He thinks that.
Right.
And I think it's important to understand why he thinks that, because like whatever side you're on, whether it's politically or culturally, you can use that to your advantage, right?
Yes.
Because I think like us on the either cultural or political right, we kind of had this sense that just like indoctrination and not thinking for yourself is always a bad thing. I don't necessarily think so. I think it could be a bad thing if it's actually a bad thing. If the means and the ends are actually bad. It doesn't necessarily have to be bad. We do it to our kids. I mean, we know we have to do that. So like, you know,
this whole idea that like we can't have anybody be indoctrinated is kind of like the word that like indoctrination being a bad thing inherently, or a bad word, is actually a misnomer, because at the end of the day, I think you're right. Most people don't want to think for themselves. You just got to figure out a way to get them to think in like a morally or objectively correct way. But the problem is that, and all of the things that are morally objectionable or are corrupt in some way are actually a lot easier to accept, because they're more seductive, right?
Yeah.
The whole thing about like equality and all of that kind of stuff, like equality is not inherently good, because everybody could be equally poor, equally broke, you know, equally dead, you know what I mean? So all of those things are not good. necessarily, but they have a lot more of a seductive narrative, because a lot of the things that come from the right in a lot of senses, at least political and cultural right, have to do with working harder to get the things that you want instead of having things come to you a lot. And the idea that you're responsible for yourself, even if it's not that you're not thinking through every single action on your own and that you're following some sort of preconceived path for you, you're still responsible for the outcomes, which is a lot of the messages that come from political and the cultural right. Whereas from the political and cultural left, a lot of their things is you're not responsible for the outcomes. And that's a lot easier for a lot of people to accept, especially while they're young. And when they're young and they continue to hold that onto an adulthood, it becomes harder to deprogram that. And that's like the main issue I find.
Yeah, I think also fundamentally, like, because I mean it goes to the idea of it's like leaders and followers, right? It's like fundamentally, right? We don't like, let's say like if you and I were to lead some kind of revolution where people would follow us, right? We'd understand that they don't really think of themselves; they'd rather us do it. But we also don't view them as beneath us.
Right.
We fundamentally believe we're all corrupt. It's just a matter of they choose to follow, we choose to lead, they choose to follow us.
Right.
The left is more like, we're better than you.
Right. Yeah, totally.
You're dumb.
Yeah.
You gotta follow us. You don't you can't think for yourself. We have to do it.
Yeah.
Where it's like there's like a fundamental moral difference there between like us and us and the left. And I think it'll be a lot more efficient, and like I think we could actually like kind of like turn the tides in the culture and political war if we were to understand this, that like people not thinking of themselves and following us, like if we understand we're leading them in the right direction, it doesn't necessarily have to be bad.
Yeah.
It just becomes bad if our own beliefs become compromised for self-interest. Like we can't do that. We have to like stay away from that.
Yeah.
But we also have to understand people like would prefer other people to lead, and they just follow.
Yeah.
Like, and also it's kind of necessary. You can't do everything on your own.
Yeah, totally.
And so we understand it on the right. So we don't view them as being less. We just they choose life differently. We know like, and like, we have a different way we follow through our lives. And it's not all sunshine and daisies to think for yourself. Like like honestly, I'm just like, man, you become cynical. It's stressful.
Yeah.
Like, it's like you always have to be like on edge. It's hard to really get comfortable. Where it's like if you're a follower, right? It's kind of like it's analogy. It's kind of like starting your own business versus becoming an employee.
Right.
It's always easier to be an employee,
right? Because you're not responsible for the outcomes.
Yeah, exactly.
If the business fails, you're not taking the huge hit. If the leader fails, you're not taking the huge hit. Oh well, it wasn't my fault. It's very easy. It's a lot easier to just accept that, to not have to accept a huge amount of responsibility for outcomes and things like that. So I can see why people do it. I just don't necessarily think it's the greatest thing in the world, at least for me.
Yeah.
But we went from Martin Luther King being in Fortnite to Faye Valentine in Cowboy Bebop to fake and fraud, all the way to philosophy and all this kind of stuff, which actually I think is a really good way to kind of continue going this podcast. So we're going to keep talking about more of that stuff in future episodes, but we've been talking for a while.
Because it all kind of relates. All this stuff, like,
exactly.
Fundamentally kind of relates. It comes from just human nature, the way people think, worldviews, all that, man. All that, it all relates, inherently. It's just,
We're becoming a big brain podcast over here. We went from video games to big brain, but let these guys know where they can find you, Ceelows.
Y'all can find me on YouTube and Twitch at Ceelows. I got a bike tour coming up tomorrow, actually. It's going to be pretty sick.
Oh, snap.
I'm trying to stream the whole thing. It's going to be cool.
Check that out, guys. And then you can find me on Twitch at MisterBehavior. You can find me on Minds at MisterBehavior. You can find me on YouTube at MisterBehavior Behavior. And I'm back on Twitter. I'm a lame. I went back to Twitter.
Need you there.
I think they might. So you can find me on Twitter at Behavior Returns. And I've been having a lot of fun. I'm not trying to change minds anymore. I'm just fucking saying my shit and muting people. That's what I'm doing. So you guys can find me there, and you guys can check us back out next week on the next episode of the Anti-Oki Podcast. We appreciate you. Peace.
Right here waiting for you, wanna get your ass kicked for your plastic. Your kung fu is weak and mine is chic and spastic. Fantastic, you're not a warrior. failure, you're just a beginner. Get up, wimp, and bask in the glory of a winner. My strength is much greater than yours. I'm a street fighting legend, the creator of wars. No use debating the score. I've waited patiently for someone to pound through the ground. I'll smash your face in the floor. Get lost, dog. I'm the boss. You can't compare with my powers. I play this game for the fame. They claim the hundreds of hours.
Listen,